Welcome everybody to another episode of All Locker. My name is Chris, and right now we're in Southern California at DeLorean Motor Company in Huntington Beach to pick up my newly acquired DeLorean. So guys, welcome to another episode of All Locker. This is I guess you could say a special edition episode. I just want to say big shout out, big thank you to DeLorean Motor Company in Huntington Beach and service manager Danny Botkin. So thank you so much for letting us, so many different reasons, but one reason for letting us shoot here, and second reason for taking in my car at such a late notice. So for those of you who don't know, I moved to the UK. And I basically bought this car sight unseen, and I did some things that you kind of shouldn't do, is buy a car sight unseen or just trust anybody and just, buy a car sight unseen. So when this car showed up, obviously it had some issues, and that wasn't my plan. So basically the car was sold to me as a car that was turnkey and I didn't need to do much to it. And my goal was basically just for it to arrive, get it smogged and get it registered and fly back to the UK. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, there's some issues with the car that had to get sorted before anything. Right. And upon arrival, some of the issues that I had were the radiator was leaking, I wasn't holding fuel pressure, I couldn't get in second and third gear. And so luckily I called Danny on his day off actually, and he was able to get the car in and get started working on it. So Danny, would you mind telling me, like, obviously I know now what we've done to it, but for the audience, like, things that, should I say, made mistakes on, or things on like I should look for, or people should look for when they're buying, a car sight unseen, and if you kind of just walk through us what you did to the car to get it in such great shape and working order right now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first thing, the biggest problem with this, it had original hoses, original radiator. Yeah. Which can't. We're 40 plus years old on cars. Anything rubber's got to go. Yeah. Tires, brake calipers have rubber in it, brake masters, clutch masters, all this stuff has rubber in it that has chemicals in it sitting for years. Yeah. So absolutely, those need to be done. And it had the original radiator. It looks nice, and that's a big mistake. Some people think they look good, they're not leaking at the time. You start driving it, especially a low mileage like car like this, issues happen. It looks beautiful. Once you start driving, it'll happen. You start heating and retracting and things like that. Hoses, plastic radiators will do that. So just updates, nothing terrible about the car. It was just updates that need to be done. Yeah. You had a rear main leaking. That's why we pulled the transmission out. There was, and we readjusted the shifter, just an adjustment on that. Yeah. Easy stuff. And we put a new clutch while we were there. Yeah.
Because you recommend that too. Basically, if you're going to do it, like the car was leaking oil. I forgot to mention that the car was leaking oil upon arrival. So Danny knows me very well. He knows how OCD I am about cars. Like, I like cars to be perfect. In fact, I've owned 5 DeLoreans, and Danny's worked on every single one of them. But you definitely recommend, so if I have, like, for example, with me, it's not that much more money to throw a new clutch in there.
It's a couple $100 extra.
Even though it's a low mileage car, just peace of mind to put a new clutch in there.
Yeah, you start fresh. I've seen a regular factory clutch. I've seen them go bad in 20,000 miles, and it just maybe just because of age or something like that. Yeah. The newer clutches that we put in, they're still a Vallejo clutch, but maybe they're making them better. I'm not sure. They'll last 90,000 miles. I've seen a lot of them do. So, and some over 100, just depends. But yeah, while you have the transmission, it's very labor intensive when you pull a transmission. So just put a new clutch while you're there.
Yeah. Which we did. I was just said, like, honestly, peace of mind. Put a new clutch inside there. Let's just do it. Right. Another simple fix, which I'm happy. I always love simple fixes. When Danny calls me and says, "Hey, actually, it was a fuse or something," I'm always stoked. but the radio didn't work. And like, I love original radios, and I'm one of the guys, like some people put the new radios in there, which look great, but I'm more of a purist. I like the original radios. No. And that was a simple fuse.
Actually, the fuse holder was cracked.
Yeah, that's in the back of the radio.
In the back,
right.
yeah. It has 2 factory fuses back there.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll blow their little tiny 3-amp fuses.
Yeah.
We put that in your stereo, works great. So.
Got it. Future tips for buyers, like if you buy a car sight unseen, I mean, know that if it has original radiator and original hoses, that is probably gonna need to be replaced. Original fuel lines. This car also, this car had, this is a common thing too we see, right? Where people do like 9 of the fuel lines, but they don't do the main or the return line or the frequency valve line. So we actually had that done too. So while I was here, just for peace of mind again, you know, we had Danny do the frequency valve fuel line.
Main line, return line.
The stainless fuel lines, right? And we actually do other stuff too, I feel like. I had you do, the window regulator on the passenger side. Driver's side, actually.
It was working, but it was ratcheting, so
it was on its way
days
out.
were numbered.
Again, like while the car's here, I just figured just do it.
There's some original things like that, you know, that I say if you're going to drive the car and do window regulators will go bad, even if you have the original ones in there, they're working. And use them until they break. You know, I'm not saying you have to do that right away. You know, alternators, original alternators are going to go. So
I still have that.
It's a good update.
That's on the list, actually.
But again, that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah. And you'll always notice when usually when an original one's going, you'll see some potting material, goo come out the bottom. That usually means your days are numbered on that. But there's just some upgrades and things like that you're going to do to, especially a car with low mileage has been sitting, that you want to do to it before you start driving.
So one thing that freaked me out, we kind of touched a little bit on it, want to go over a little more, was when the car first arrived, we were backing out of the trailer. I'll show some footage of that, but as we're backing out of the trailer, the reverse lights weren't on. I kind of noticed the guy was barely able to get it in reverse and get off the trailer. Then when I hopped in the car, the truck that delivered the car drove away, and immediately I couldn't get in first gear. I couldn't get in any gears. I could only get in third gear, I think it was. And I basically was able to get the car to my brother's house. Then as we're back in the car in the driveway, I had three quarters of gas, and the car just died. And I was freaking out. I didn't know why. Well, also, I forgot to mention the fuel cylinder was bad, and it was causing a bad connection, or I don't know what it was doing. But basically,
the fuel cylinder was just bad.
It was bad. So luckily, it was just a bad fuel cylinder, and I put fresh gas in it and started right up. But I want to go back to the shifter. So is that super common? Like, I was freaking out. I thought to myself, oh my God, I bought this car, my wife's gonna kill me. I pay a lot of money for this car.
Right.
And now it won't go into reverse. It won't go into any gears at all.
Right.
How common is that just for it to get seized or to get like frozen, like where it wouldn't go into gears?
It's actually uncommon. You know, it's not that common to do it. And we just adjusted it. We kind of lubed up the cable where we can. The shifter cable is a big, heavy-duty cable.
Okay.
And we try to spray a little bit in there. You can't get the whole thing. But we just adjusted it up when we pull the transmission out. Okay. It's just a normal thing, and everything worked fine. So
yeah, I literally drove it. I mean, it's so funny because I bought the car, came off the trailer, I basically limped it to my brother's house, and I haven't driven the car since. And actually, today's the first day I actually got to drive the car.
That's great.
I literally did like 5 laps around DMC right now, just because I was so excited to actually drive the car.
That's a good time.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
One more question for you, Danny.
Sure.
I know. Thanks again for having us here.
Oh, my pleasure.
But one more question is, it's a touchy subject, right? DeLorean values, right? So I'm a pretty open book, and basically it's my 5th DeLorean. My first DeLorean, I paid like $24,000 for it in 2019. That was a terrible car. In fact, quick story about that car. So that car was so bad that Danny was a good friend by telling me, hey Chris, instead of dumping money into this car, I could sell you parts. You know, I could do as much work for you in the car as you want me to, but in reality, you're probably better off just buying
something else,
a better car, and that's what I did. So that was my first car. But back to values. So my first car was $24,000. My second car was $45,000. Third car was $40,000. Fourth car was $45,000. But this car I actually spent a lot of money on, more money than I ever spent on any DeLorean ever before. And I actually paid $69,000 for a car. And also this is for a 5,000 mile Canadian spec car. So actually the gauge is in kilometers, but on it's 5,000 miles, and I paid $69,000. Now, that was a lot of money for me, but I was going to get your feedback, like market right now, where it's going. I mean, for a 5,000 mile car, was that a fair price? Did I get hosed because I had to do all this work in the back end? Like, just what are your thoughts
No,
with prices?
I think you paid a fair price for it.
Okay.
What the prices are going
Wife, do you
for.
hear that? Honey, do you hear that?
It's a fair price.
Okay.
It's a very nice car.
Okay.
It is a low mileage car, like you said. A Canadian spec, which was, for what I understand, there's only a couple hundred of Canadian specs out there.
I think they made 88 Canadian, well, per DeLorean parts, no, DeLorean Service Northwest website. It was 88 cars. I don't know how true that is, but
I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, 88
James
cars.
has to be the one that asked that
Okay,
one too.
ask James. Yeah.
But realistically, I mean, this car, can go for 100.
Okay. Oh,
easy. This is what the market's doing.
Yeah.
It's fluctuating. It's kind of settled out now.
Yeah.
Right after COVID, everything jumped up a lot.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of finding its place right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, just going online, like, you can't find a clean car. I feel like there's no clean cars in the market right now. On the market,
hard to find,
on the market right now.
Right.
However, though, we'll say you did show me some cars here that are for sale, right?
Right.
And I just want to throw it out there for viewers out there. There's a car here that I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I would buy it.
It's gorgeous.
And Danny knows how crazy I am about cars and the details, and it's a nice car. So if you want to know more about it, reach out to Danny. He'll tell you about it. But this sweet 81 October car, and 5-speed,
gray interior.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like
Gorgeous car.
It's like it's a nice car. So if you're interested, please reach out to Danny for that one. But so it's good to know about the values, because I feel like the values keep going like up and down, or not really up and down, but it's like I don't know, people are get afraid. I don't know how do I explain it, but like some cars you see go for $85,000, $90,000, then $150,000, and
right.
then it's the same car that sold for $120,000 sold for like $70,000 for similar miles, And
I think a big problem we have too is a lot of people will have cars that aren't that good.
Yeah.
And they think they see those high dollars and they go out there and they try to get it. Which, hey, everybody tries.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot there. I've seen cars that we'll do, I'll do an estimate on, and the guy will do a couple of things on it. Then he's throwing it on the internet for $100,000 and going, yeah, I'm sorry. And I tell him, if someone calls me about your car, I'm going to be the truth because I'm going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But you really got to go look at a car. If you're going to buy a car, go look at it.
Yeah.
And please, if you have any questions, you can call me here at DeLorean Motor Company, California.
Yeah.
Shoot me some pictures. Danny, I'm looking at this car. Chances are I know it.
Yeah.
I've been doing this 26 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've either worked on it or I know it. And I want to help people. The worst thing, and I've done it a bunch of times, I had a guy bring in a 5,000 mile car like you years ago. He says, yeah, I found this inside a lady's house, been sitting there for this many years, 5,000 miles. This thing won't need much at all. The frame was all rusted out. It was sitting on grass. Yeah. And the stainless looked fine, it was all water sped and everything. But I gave him the estimate on that. I hate to see that disappointment.
Yeah.
I've had guys buy cars. I had a guy sitting in front of my shop one morning.
Yeah.
Came in there in the morning. He says, yeah, he was a picky guy. I've already showed him other cars. He's really picky. He says, Danny, I just picked this up this weekend. And I looked down the side of the car and I went, this thing's been on a side rack, right? He didn't. Couldn't see the repair. Yeah. Sometimes you can't. You get new owners, especially, they get excited to get a DeLorean, and they sometimes don't see or don't know to do that. That's why James wrote the Buyer's Guide.
Yeah.
Great book if you've never bought one before. Buy it, look at it, read it.
I have the book.
Any new buyer should get it.
One common problem that I will say is, and I call it DeLorean goggles, right? And that's where someone has, instead of beer goggles, I call it DeLorean goggles. And they see a car, they get so excited that's a DeLorean, and they kind of forget all the flaws. They don't see corrosion pits on the stainless, which actually does happen.
Yeah.
They don't see a rusted frame, or they don't see mouse droppings all over the engine bay or whatever it is.
Right.
They just see a DeLorean and then buy the car. And after 5 cars, I think I'm pretty good at it, except, when I bought this car, I did all the right things. I asked for photos of the frame, I asked for photos of the engine, I've asked for any detailed history of the car. And still, unfortunately, whenever you buy a car, it happens, but if you buy a car that's been sitting for a while or hasn't had a lot, or like Danny said, original radiator, original hoses, you're gonna have some problems, And I guess I was anticipating some problems, but not so much out the gate where the car arrived to have a leaking radiator, or a bad fuel accumulator. But
I've seen it too many times.
Yeah. But Danny, honestly, thank you again for taking your time and
my pleasure.
Sharing your facility with us and
no problem.
Displaying the car and stuff. And yeah, thanks so much.
Well, glad you like it, and happy motoring.
All right. I'm doing 120 miles an hour. Oh wait, that's kilometers.